Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Brandon, your trusted realtor, and I'm coming to you with another great episode. Today, I want to keep on the track of talking about finances because if you think about it, finances is really the way that you get into the club. That's your all-access pass to get into this club that is called home ownership. The question that is most critical that we have to begin to ask ourselves and challenge ourselves with is, do we have a sense of awareness? And that's what I want to talk to you about today. Awareness in relation to tracking your financing. Awareness means really being sure or having a sense or certainty about where your money is going each and every time money comes into your account and goes out of your account. It's so difficult, or it's very easy for us to say, hey, I'm aware of what goes in and out of my account. But the question is, are you really aware of what goes in and out of your account? And a really good example that is brought to mind are recurring payments. Recurring payments like Netflix and Hulu. Those type of subscription programs, Disney Plus, etc. All of those programs, they're reoccurring each month. Can you right now tell me off the top of your head how much each one of those individual programs cost plus taxes? What about your iCloud? Or if you have an Android, whatever storage cloud that is. Are you paying additional money each month for your iCloud and for that storage space in those facilities? Do you know how much that costs you each and every month? What about the actual cost of your cell phone bill down to the penny? What about the lunch that you had last week? Did you take your lunch to work? Did you make your own lunch? What you spend on groceries? Are all the things that you spend on groceries, did you end up cooking those things? How much food did you throw away in the course of that spending? And what does that net over net mean that you actually wasted? Have you changed the amount of food that you buy at the grocery store based on how much you throw away as it relates to your weekly grocery expenses? That is the level of awareness that I'm looking for individuals to have, and that's really the level of awareness that you need to have when it comes to your financial situation. Maybe this is not a situation where you can just look and float by casually and hope that you're going to get into a loan, because at the end of the day, your credit score is going to be a reflection of how you manage your finances, and your finances are a reflection of your credit score. And whether you want to believe it or not, a mortgage entity or a lender doesn't know you, and the only way that they can judge you is they judge you based off your past experiences. And guess what? Your past experiences are just that. Your awareness or your ability or the tracking and how you have spent your money. How much money goes in your account, how much money goes out of your account, and really the most important piece is that in between those two transactions, what is happening? So you have to really begin to ask yourself, tracking your money is all about having that sense of awareness and understanding where that money is coming from. And guess what? I want to talk to you today about what the trick is, the tool, the magic that happens or that you can use in relation to getting yourself in a position where you're able to track your finances. Are you ready? There isn't one. There is no magic tool. There is no trick. There's a standard process. These companies may try to wow you with applications and online tools for monitoring, but guess what? A tool is only as effective as the person that wields that tool. And if you have not been successful currently in tracking your expenses, if you don't track your credit card expenses, you can't identify a host of the expenses that I talked about earlier in this introduction or in this series, then there's an opportunity for improvement. And that's the name of the game, an opportunity for improvement. The question is, where's the level of responsibility that you have in the ability to manage the small? And then that really dictates your ability to manage the larger. Can you manage the small expenses, which is the world of renting and the expenses that are associated with that? Because if you think about from a renting standpoint, if you're in a traditional apartment, you don't pay for any of the expenses or the repairs or the maintenance or even necessarily the upkeep. You do the routine cleaning. But let's be honest. As renters, typically renters, they don't care that much about the property. So it's clean enough, right? And so let's be honest. But when you own a property, there's a different level of integrity. Think about it. Think about all you guys out there who have a car. Don't you treat that car differently? You treat that car like it's your woman. Do you treat your apartment the same way? You've decked out that car with rims and spinners and blah, 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 and tires. I can't tell you the last time I cleaned the tires on my car because it's a tool. It's an asset to get me from one place to the other. And if you make an assumption about that and you feel that that's something that defines you, guess what? You're giving more power to that tool, to that asset, and the power of the asset then is that that asset now has the ability to control you. And once that asset controls you, aka money, it is very difficult for you to get out of that tailspin because you've committed yourself to the luxuriousness of what money can offer you, versus looking at money as a tool, as a wave, as a leverage. And the best way to track, and the best advice that I want to give you, because I do want to keep this short so you all can digest it, is the best advice that I can give you that has revolutionized the way that my clients have been able to track their expenses and to really be accountable to themselves and really assess where they are. I encourage them for the month, for at least 3 months consistent, you print out your bank statement at the end of that month and you go down itemized by item, and you identify, what is it that I'm spending money on? What is this item? Is this a need or a want, or do I want to? That's the first technique. That is the most powerful technique I have found, even in my own personal experiences, when dealing with credit and dealing with tracking my money and trying to be a better individual, not only for myself, but for my family. This is deeper than this. Some of you guys are out there dealing with family situations and generational curses. You have to be the one to break that. And the reason these things perpetuate themselves is because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. And if you're out here and you're not tracking your money, if you're out here and you have no sense of accountability for yourself, how can you then expect an institution to then look at you and say, I'm going to give you X numbers of hundreds of thousands of dollars? You have to demonstrate that, and you demonstrate that in the small things. So I'll leave you with this analogy and this comparison. If you were in a relationship with someone and incrementally they treated you poorly, they disregarded your needs, your wants, at some point it will come to a reckoning in the head where you will hopefully move out of that situation or reposition yourself. But if you would have known that up front, if you would have known that from day one that was the individual you were getting involved with, you probably would have made a different decision, even if you were in love. But if you knew that from day one, you make a different decision. And that's the power that a lender has. A lender can look at all of your previous transactions. They can look at the history of your engagements with other individuals, whether or not you've been faithful, whether or not you've been committed. Imagine having a Carfax report, but your credit report is just that. It's a representation of you and what you've been doing and what you haven't been doing. So remember to monitor and track. Print out your monthly statement. Look at those items. I also, before I even make a purchase, I question the integrity of the item. Is this something that I need? Is this something that is going to enhance to my life? Do I already have something that exists right now that works for me? I am still, and this just so happens to be here, I'm still working with the first version of the Apple iPods. Do you know why? And these bad boys, I've left them on the charge overnight. I have exhausted 100%, but they still work. Is the volume the greatest? No, but it still works. People can still hear me. I can still have communications. In fact, that big beast of a dog that you guys see walking behind me actually got into my case. And he chewed it. This is when he was a puppy. So he's about 2, almost 3 years ago. 3 years old now. There's no reason for me to get rid of this, because a penny saved is a penny earned. And my intention, and I'm very intentional with my finances, and I'm intentional with my money, that the value in this is that this is a tool. It's a tool for me to listen to music. It's a tool for me to listen to my clients and to be responsible for me not to break the law. And so I don't need to have the newest and the latest version of this, because that is a want. So if you haven't put yourself in a position to win successfully, you have to think about it. When you get 60, when you get 78 and it's time to retire, are you going to look at your 35-year-old self? Are you going to look at your 40-year-old self? Are you going to look at your 23-year-old self and say, I wish you would have done this? At that point, it'll be slightly too late. Take control of your finances now. Allow me to be in a position where I can be your trusted resource to help you navigate this process, because there's a team of resources that are here to prepare you for the long haul. I'm Brandon, your trusted realtor, and I look forward to nothing but your growth and success in this year and all the years to come. If you haven't done so already, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification button so you can stay tuned in and in tune to the latest and greatest real tea here in the DMV and everywhere else. Take care and talk to you soon.